Hello, everybody. Hi, y'all. I know I have been away for a minute. I have been straight up incognito, okay? A sister has been busy. You understand? I mean, just busy, child. Ooh, busy. But it's good stuff. Hold on, I'm trying to fix this epiphany. What a damn thing is. Find my what do I normally put up there? My person-centered cyber. Here she go. There she go. And this big old green bubble. Can we get another color for that? Okay, I can do that right now. All right, y'all. So let me tell you what I've been doing, what I've just completed. I'm so happy, so happy that I've gotten this done. However, I'm about to start another project, but I really enjoy doing this stuff. But I did want to share with you all. I'm not going to share the whole thing. Look how bright that screen is. I'm not going to share it on the screen, but I found some really interesting things for the ITF plus projects. Now, a lot of y'all probably don't know what ITF is. It's CompTIA's first core certification. All right. It's super like literally what is a keyboard type thing, you know, what is a mobile phone. But there's a lot of good stuff in there. Now, when I was creating content for that, like, was it last year, 2 years ago, whenever CompTIA was offering it for free, that big green bubble is getting on my nerves, so that we got to get rid of that. Here she go. Whenever they, like 2 years ago, I think when the pandemic first started, something like that, I was creating content for it, so I got the book, man, like, and I had already passed CISA and Security Plus by that time, but they had some really good stuff in there that I didn't even know. Like, really, seriously, I did not know, like, the things they had in there. So, and that fundamental stuff is important, right? It's really important. So let me tell you, let me go through here and see what I could share with y'all. So we do a lot of ethics stuff, okay? Ethics in cybersecurity, because that's not talked enough about. During training, the 10 Commandments of Computer Ethics, we do that. We have them sign a disclaimer and pledge of ethical behavior. What else do we do? We explore career paths. Where's that thing? Oh, here you go. The binary one. This was very interesting. So I can show you this, where we are talking about binary, right? And they make their own binary image on this website, okay? And they can do it in Python, or they can just do it in pixel squares right here. So I'm gonna pull it up so you can see it. Okay, see that? So here you could go down here and say make image in Python if that's what you want to do. Uh-oh, there you go. Girl, stop clicking so much. Right here, you can do it there. Or you can just come up here and make the image in the pixels, right? So you just click on, and the cool thing is over here. You see the hex and the binary and binary, I don't know what that is, and RLE. You see all those change, right? While you're making this image. I think that's really cool. And I just found this. So that's one of the very simple things that they're going to do to see the relationship between binary and hex. Okay. All right. So what else do I want to show you guys? There is that thing. I think I showed you the word cloud already. Okay, which is really good. I still use word clouds because they're useful. What else do we have here? Have y'all seen the first website? The World Wide Web. I think y'all have seen it. If not, just go look up the first website. It's still up there, child. You can go see it. What else? What else? What else? There's just a lot of good stuff in here. All right, let me see. They're going to be writing their name and binary code. There's a YouTube scavenger hunt, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. YouTube scavenger hunt. What else is here? There's a word search. Protocols, signs of an insecure website. Y'all look, so what I'm aware of, okay, when it comes to, now look at this right here. I have up here. Here you go. So this is another one of the activities. Hey, Professor Black Ops, how you doing? So this is another one of the activities, okay, where they have to, I go to these websites and see if they're secure or insecure. Now, one thing that I'm aware of is when I go into my Verizon, when I go to my Verizon website, the one where I can go to my router, you know, your router website, that thing says insecure, you know? So I'm like, what? Like, you got a whole ISP out here. With an insecure website, are you kidding me? And my computer wouldn't even let me go to the thing, right? So I had to, first of all, I was like, why is this thing showing up as insecure? Like, that don't make any sense. You know, is this like somebody done DNS poisoning or something? I'm somebody supposed to be, whatever. But turns out it showed up insecure because apparently Verizon uses a different certificate holder or then, like, they don't use Google or whatever, you know? So when I saw that, I was like, okay, so just because a website shows up, if I'm in Google Chrome looking this stuff up as insecure, that doesn't necessarily mean it is. That just means they didn't use Google's whatever to get that lock, you know, up there in the URL. So that was good to know. So now, because some of these things right here come up insecure, and it's like, huh? Like, how? What in the world? You know, but it may be that situation. So this is an activity, but for the next one, you know, we're going to investigate that further, because we don't really go into certificates and stuff like that here. But, you know, for the next the subsequent projects and stuff, we're going to go more into certificates and what that means and all that, like what that really means. Okay. Okay, what else do I have here that I can share with you? This Jeopardy game is going to be a lot of fun. What else I got? What else I got? There's some coding stuff, binary code. So this was a lot of fun to put together. Like, it really, really was. It took a lot of work, though. What I'm noticing is that, because what I had to do here was make the language simpler. Like, one of the things I really spent a lot of time on that CompTIA does not spend, or nobody really spends time on this, is, where is it? Is the difference between analog and digital. Here we go. I spent a lot of time on this, okay? Because once I saw and understood the difference between analog and digital, I'm like, if I would have known this before, like if this was one of the first things I understood or I learned, okay, I would not have struggled so much when it came to bits and binary and all that, okay, because it just makes sense, you know. It just makes sense. It really does. And so I definitely wanted to put this in there, right? And I feel like fundamental, like super fundamental stuff like that is just missing, you know, in the stuff that we learn. And it's not stuff we don't know. Like, we use this stuff when we talk about it, like, all day. Remember when I was talking about what a bit is? And I said the equivalent of a bit is like your senses. Okay, it's your senses. It's your sense of smell, your sense of touch and taste and hearing. Like that's exactly, go back to that video. That's exactly what I said, right? And that was before I even saw this stuff, because I just got curious one day and was like, okay, what's up with this, right? So analog, and I was exactly right, even without knowing this. Okay, because digital is only, it's the same, well, it tries to be the same as analog, but you know, there's in analog, there's no break in the signal, where in digital there is. You know, it's got to be represented with the ones, at least right now, the ones and zeros and stuff, okay? But yeah, so knowing like really fundamental stuff like this would have been so helpful. And something else, I didn't put it in here, but I'm definitely going to, first of all, I need to try it out. I mean, I see how it works and all that, but I'm definitely going to try it out. Is, all right, let me get this off the screen. Songs, okay? So somebody, I'm helping somebody right now who's trying to, well, she's learning Python. And I started with Python like a like a year ago or something, right? But I've just come away from it because I'm like, I know there's an easier way to learn. I'm always looking for the easy way to learn some stuff, okay? Because I'm of the philosophy that I just need to be reminded about what I already know. You know how old boy Socrates, or one of them folks who wore togas was talking about that, right? You know, we only need to remember what we already know, right? You ain't gotta learn nothing, you already know it. So I'm like, okay, there has to be a simpler way than all this rigmarole we be going through, you know, using terms and all. I mean, it's crazy. So songs, okay? You know how a song, like almost every song, has a what do you call it? Is it called the hook? The thing that repeats every now and then. Like It's a Hard Knock Life. You know, that Jay-Z rap. Well, it's from the movie Annie too. But how they say, it's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. And they say that like, you know, they do the thing and then they come back to that chorus. There it is, the chorus. And then they come back to the thing. Well, that's what happens in what aspect of programming is that when you write something once and it fits in where it needs to fit in. So every time there's the chorus, I don't write the whole thing. All I write is chorus, and you know what to do, right? What aspect of programming is that? What the hell is that part called? But that's what I'm talking about, okay? People understand that, right? People know that. So now when they hear that term that I can't think of right now, and they think of a chorus, they're like, oh, it's just like a chorus, right? That's how I use that when I do programming. I mean, stuff can be that simple, like seriously. It can be that simple. All of this, all of it, every single piece of it. And why? Because it's mapped off of analog. The whole world is analog, okay? And we know this. We know it. All we're doing is mapping the digital to the analog. Oh, the other night, like 2 nights ago, somebody asked me, and I just sent her a message that I'm working on this, right? She asked me some questions because she's going for her Security Plus at the end of the month. Well, I started looking into some stuff. I'm a person who I will ask questions where there are already answers. Okay, somebody already talked about it, researched it, a TED talk, wrote a book, had a dream, all this. They already did all that. But I will ask a question about, where there's already an answer. So I'm looking up stuff regarding, how did I start with it? Oh, I know what it was. It was stuff related to like Kerberos and what else was in there? And all that other stuff, like that authentication stuff, like Kerberos, right? So for some reason, I started looking up time. Okay, I started looking up time because what I do not like that master and slave shit that they got going. I cannot stand that. The master clock and the slave clock. Oh, I just, I don't like it. Anyway, I started looking up that stuff, right? Like, okay, so what is this? So I found like where that came from, how they actually had a big old, like a grandfather clock that was connected to these other clocks, wherever, and it would like, give them a jolt, every now and then to make sure they were all showing the same time as the master clock and all that. Well, I also, so what I was looking at that led me to time was GPS. I was on a website reading about cybersecurity in Nigeria, I think it was, or in somewhere in West Africa. And in that article, someone said, we have the Americans to thank for GPS. And I was like, what does that mean? I did not know that our tax dollars paid for GPS. I had for global positioning. I had no idea. Like, I really didn't. We got a whole federal organization related to GPS. Did y'all know that? I did not know that. I think it's like gps.gov or something, and so that's what led me to looking at that time stuff. And and finding out how time all started, because one of the things I was also mapping what she was asking me to was NTP. Okay, is it NTP? That's it, right? Y'all don't have me saying wrong stuff up on here. Is that the time protocol? So NIST maintains internet time. Is it called NTP? Yeah. Oh, because it was related to authentication. Remember I said it was Kerberos and all that stuff? NTP is related to authentication, okay? So I went to see how, like for each of these things, what does it have to do with time, And NTP authentication. Okay, so they have that, but yeah, that's what it is. It's NTP. So it's NIST, and it's the USNO, United States Naval Organization. I think it is. That's a STIG check for NTP. Is it okay? And my computer wasn't even on internet time like that. It was shut off. So I'm like, who did you get their time from? But I was telling, because Dr. Phillips was here when I was looking at it, right? And I was telling him how when I was younger, we used to call the time to find out what time it was. We used to call, we get on the phone and dial a number and we'd hear what time it was. He was like, where you grew up? Like, y'all have no clocks or nothing. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I just remember my mom telling me, hey, Cheryl, call the time. So I'd call the time, right? And then I was like, I wonder if I could still do that. You can still call the time and find out what time it is from the USNO, okay? And those people like NIST and USNO, they, do all whatever they do to give us the universal UTC, whatever the hell that stands for, UTC and the other thing. But I also found out that time is a commodity. Like, we are considered, we human people, those of us who don't make the rules, all right, we are considered consumers of time. Can you believe that? Consumers of time. Just like you are a consumer of potato chips, you are also a consumer of time, which is nuts to me. And like back in the day, during like when trains and all that came out, they had to pay. Train stations had to pay for time, child. They had to come out of the pocket to get time, okay, to get the right time. I'm like, ooh, child, human beings are the worst. I'm telling you. People out here paying for time. It's like that movie, that movie with Justin Timberlake. I think it's actually called Time, right? But they got all that stuff going on. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so looking into this stuff for her, like that time stuff has been So, and listen, when I saw that GPS, is it GPSgov? Y'all got me here. It sure is. Let me show you GPS. Yeah, I don't think y'all believe me. What screen am okay, here you go. Look at that. GPS.gov, official US government information about the global positioning and related topics. And there's a head. Who is he? He's a where is he? I don't know. They have like a whole director or something. Anyway, so this was very interesting. Okay, and then it talks about, so we have, you can see the constellation of satellites that make up GPS. Oh my goodness, so interesting. And Space Force are, yeah, so they do a lot with that stuff too. But this site is interesting. Y'all go here and look at this global positioning system stuff. But the taxpayers pay for it, you know, and they have presentations in here that talk about that. Like I opened all kinds of presentations. I just went on 1,000 tangents, okay, looking for this stuff, which is why I had to tell her, I was like, I have not forgotten about you. I'm going to get you this information today, and which I'm going to do. But what I wanted, I didn't want to just be like the way I learned Kerberos and all those terms. Well, let me see what she was talking about, actually. Let me see what that was. There was, somebody posted something on, y'all know I cannot multitask. So what was I doing? Oh, I was going to LinkedIn. Well, somebody posted something on LinkedIn. Maybe it was last week. And did I tag you on it, Professor Black? I don't think so. I think I tagged Dr. Phillips on it. But I was like, this is interesting because we were just talking about that. So, okay, what did she send me? Oh, here it is. Yeah, it was Samuel Kerberos, MS CHAP, EAP, TLS, you know, all those, that acronym suit there. You know, so I was looking for that common thread. You know, what can I do to connect all those things together other than authentication, right? So I thought about time, which is very interesting. But this person, so what he posted was he had a tablet, okay, where on one side it said like hackers are like two things that they were doing: hacking into stuff and stealing information. And on the other side, it has, well, here's what blue team people are doing. And it was a big old long list. And it said, you know, getting ready for reporting, writing reports. What else did it say? A whole bunch of stuff about reporting. Okay. Where the argument was, okay, malicious hackers are on their job. Okay. They're on their job, right? They're day and night. They're trying to get in. They're coming up with new things. They're finding vulnerabilities that we didn't know were there. They're doing it, okay? Whereas blue team members are, you know, writing reports, making updates to go into reports, okay? A lot of paperwork, you know, and you know, and of course he got a lot of people like, yeah, like that's exactly what's happening, you know, and it is. I mean, you know, it is what's happening, right? So, and then the question was, well, who's going to win? Well, who's going to win? And if you look at it like a win-lose type thing, of course, you know, if you're not out there doing the same thing the adversary is doing, you know, and you're fighting, like it's offensive, defensive, you know, almost like a game, right? You got to be doing some of the same stuff, practicing the same moves, or even better, right, to win. You know, and that is true. However, I I don't see it that way, right? Because first of all, I don't feel like we're fighting. Y'all already know. Well, over here, you already know. Ain't nobody fighting, okay, over here, right? Because I think we're, and one of my, I think it was, what was his name? Somebody who comes in the chat sometimes, but he was talking about how these new cyber professionals, like they're being lied to, right? About what they're actually here to do, right? Like what they're actually here to do. It's all sexy and using things and finding stuff and breaking in and all that, okay? Well, for some, maybe, if you're trying out to be on the US APT team or whatever, possibly, or a bug bounty person, whatever. But if you're in a business, okay, and this is what I was telling Dr. Phillips, different people are hired for business, right? The first job I had was at a restaurant, okay? I was hired to serve and cook and make coffee and all that, okay? That's what I was hired to do. That's what I was paid to do. That's what the business needed in order to run, and do what it needed to do. Other people were hired on the register. Okay, some people were hired as supervisors, right? To be able to manage all these other different positions, to make sure folks were doing what they needed to do when they needed to do it at the quality, that they needed to do it. That's their job, okay? Security people are the same. Like, you're hired for a particular thing, right? But that particular thing is all about everything working together for the job. Okay, for the whatever the mission is, whatever this person wants to accomplish. Think about your own. If you had a business, think about your own business. All right. Let's say your house, the way you run your household is a business. Okay. People have different roles, right? They have different responsibilities. They get different kinds of compensation or whatever the case is. All right. But it's all about running a household where the people inside it are productive, they are respectful, they are safe, and all these other things. All that stuff goes together. All right. So to feel like you're going somewhere, you're going into a house, right? Somebody's that they're running the way they run it. Okay. Somebody does the yard, they take out the garbage, all that. But everything is about, having a household that produces, good children or a good marriage, whatever the case is. You cannot go into that household with your role, your one role, expecting that one role to now be central in everything. And everybody else got to drop what they're doing and look at you and be like, okay, what do we got to do? Right? Just like I wouldn't expect to go into a restaurant or something, right? And I'm hired to what am I hired to do? Sweep the floors, okay, or clean the bathroom. So now I go in there, and now everybody has to drop what they're doing, okay, and learn about, be experts at sweeping floors and doing bathrooms. Do you understand? Because I mean, who gonna do this is what the job said they wanted from me. Sweeping floors and all that was not in my job description. Okay, that wasn't in my job description. I'm not here for that. But what I will do is, if I spill something on the floor, I'll wipe it up immediately. If I drop something on the floor, yeah, I'll pick it up, because I don't want somebody else to slip on it or whatever. I'm not just going to wait for you to come in and, because that's your job. That's not no, that's not it. That is not it, right? So, and it's the same for everybody. A customer needs something, I'm right there. Okay, I've been there, and we've gone to restaurants when they did this. It's not even my waiter, right? But they just come by, or I just, I see them walking and say, hey, can you bring me some? It's not like, I'm not your waiter, I don't do that here. No, they go do it. Why? Because it's about the customer's experience and, and everybody contributing to that. So what I'm saying is, as security people, when we go into organizations, what we need to realize is We're now part of a family, if you will. Okay. Ain't nobody gonna drop what they're doing. Okay. They're not gonna drop what they're not. They're not gonna drop what they're being paid for. They're not gonna drop what they feel most competent at. They're not gonna drop what they love doing, which is why they took the job in the first place. They're not gonna drop that to listen to you or to do what you are telling them to do, because they need to get their attention off of what they're doing and put it on what you're doing, because you say this is what's best for the organization. Okay, who are you? Like, who are you for real? Now, something I said in the other thing that I'm working on with cyber and Linux and all that, the head of cybersecurity does not have a CISSP or whatever. The head of cybersecurity has whatever the CEO has in the organization. Whatever the business owner has, that's the head. That's what the head of cybersecurity has. Okay, because just like with all the other people that are hired into the organization, interns, all that stuff. Okay, the way we're set up. Let's use a bureaucracy, for instance. Okay, these decisions are with boards and the C-suite and all that, right? That's the head of cyber right there. Okay, and the reason for all of the reporting and the data now, I will admit, people need, they need some serious training on what reporting is, okay, and how to do it right. Because I can tell you, in all the organizations I've been in, the rework, the time, the ridiculousness that goes on when it comes to reporting is just is nuts. Is nuts. If I were, in an organization like that, and had the opportunity to actually guide how reporting happened, all the inefficiencies would totally be gone. Absolutely, because it's ridiculous. Part of it is that the people asking for the information don't know what the hell they're asking for. Okay, they don't know what to ask for. You know what I mean? They don't know. So they just get what you give them. And then see, oh, that's not enough. Can I get this? Instead of being decisive and knowing up front, these are the kinds of decisions I have to make in my role. This is the kind of information I need. I need these kind of facts. I need to know what people believe regarding this. I may need to know assumptions, in this, but when you make a decision, you use all kinds of information. First of all, it's not just facts. Okay, it's not that you use to make that information. You make those decisions. It's all kinds of information that you use, right? So where are they going to get that information from? Where are they going to get it from? Because it's one person or one group of people. They can't be everywhere all the time doing whatever. So you have really good dashboards that you keep updated and places where they can get to it when they need to get to it. Okay. And of course we have meetings galore. Meetings on top of meetings on top of meetings. Okay. Much of it is unnecessary if they would only ask for the right information. Okay. If they only knew what the right information was, that they wanted. Now, I'm just speaking because I've only worked in the federal space. Y'all might be like light years ahead of everybody in the private sector. I don't know. I doubt it, but I don't know. Okay. Now, some people may, some organizations may, but the point is that it's not that we all need to be, or something like that. And all of this, what do you call it? This fear-based stuff that's still going on here in where are we at? 2021. Okay, still trying to scare people into doing stuff. So reporting, that is one area. where leadership like CISOs, CIOs need some training on, okay, is reporting. Human behavior is another major area where every cybersecurity professional, I don't care where you're going, okay, y'all need some training on human behavior, okay? We need to do that because I mean, the stuff I hear, oh my goodness, the things I hear coming out of the mouths of these professionals regarding what it will take to get another adult human being to do something. They don't even do. They don't even do. They don't do and would not respond well to and don't respond well to. Let me come up to you, another adult person, and say to you, you know what? I need you to do this, okay? And I need you to do it for this reason, all right? I need you to stop eating fast food, okay? Because fast food is going to rot your heart. You're going to die like within the next 5 to 10 years. You know, you're going to, a whole bunch of years are going to come off what your lifespan would have been because you're eating fast food, okay? I give you all the scary reasons. Heart disease, I mean, you're wasting money, your teeth gonna fall out, all of that, okay? I'm to another adult, okay? And I'm gonna expect you to do exactly what I said. Why? Because I said it and I told you all the facts and figures that backed up what I just said. And I'm showing you videos of people in the hospital with heart disease because they ate McDonald's every day or whatever, okay? Because the reason why we're doing it is because we're trying to influence behavior. Is that right? That's why we're doing it. You're doing something, adult, and now adult person, I want you to do something else. And I'm gonna tell you all the terrible, horrible reasons why you need to. Like this, that don't even happen with you. You know, it doesn't. It does not. How many of us here, okay, have habits? Hey, Daryl. Oh, awesome. Thanks so much for subscribing. How many of us have habits, whether it's smoking or drinking or shoot, I don't know, whatever habits you got, okay? You know, that you probably need to stop doing, okay? But you just can't, or stuff that you're not doing that you want to do, you know, but you like, listen, what time is it? Ooh, I'm tired. I ain't got time to go to the gym or whatever. Or I got to drink all that water. No. You know what I mean? So why in the world would we feel like by treating another adult like they're our child, like that's going to work? Huh? They're going to do exactly what they're doing right now. Exactly what they're doing right now. And I told y'all on this channel, I went over it with Professor Black Ops too when we had a discussion about something. But there were three main reasons why people are not compliant. And they're all legit to the person. They're all legit, okay? I could tell you now, when I worked at OPM, after that breach, I was there when that breach happened. OPM before the breach, okay, and OPM after, child. Before I could get online, type in like opm.gov something and get to my email and see what was in my email. I mean, everything was just there. It was very convenient. Child, they shut that down. I mean, and not just that, okay. There were multiple .gov sites I couldn't get to. We had to have this whole 5-step process to get to websites that we used to be able to get to, like, you know, legit website, government website to do our work. I mean, the friction, honey, the friction was just off the chain. Okay. So what you think happened? I was hired for a certain thing. Okay, I got to get my work done. I can't be fooling around with no cyber office and all this stuff they trying to do. You know, I got things to do. I don't have time to wait 5 days to get a reply on whether I can get to this website or not. You know, I mean, we're going to find a way, okay, to do what we feel we need to do to get the job done. And your scare tactics, y'all remember that show on TV, Scare Tactics? That was a lot of fun. Wasn't it funny? But your scare tactics ain't gonna work. It's not, which is why I'm talking about we need to do human behavior. We need to understand our own behavior, because it seems like when it comes to other people, we forget, you know, that, you know what, that stuff don't even work with me. Why would I think scaring somebody into not clicking links is gonna work for somebody else? You know? I worked at DOD, it is military, you're gonna get yelled at by yelled at by generals. I know. But the thing is, though, if the goal is really a secure culture, right? A culture that values security. I've said before, when people make their own decision to do something, that's lasting behavior. That behavior is going to last. When I make my own decision to act or behave in this way, when I see an email in my inbox that looks like this or that has this in it, you know, if I've already established that Cheryl has chosen to behave this way when this comes, you know, within my sphere of awareness, that's behavior that's going to last. It will. Behavior that's not going to last is when I'm told to do something, okay? I don't see the logic. I don't see the relevance. I don't see the urgency. I don't see it's getting in my way. I have other, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm told to do it, okay? And what I do want to do, what is intrinsic, is me keeping my job or not getting written up or whatever. I'll do it, okay? But as soon as I don't have to, as soon as you go, okay, as soon as I see, you know what, they're a little lenient on here. They don't really care if I do it. You know, listen, I'm going to go back to what I really want to do. Do you know what I mean? So the thing here is not to get people to stop clicking links. All right. The thing is to get people to want to be more secure. That's what it is. Okay. Now, how do you do that? Forget about clicking links and plugging shit in. No, forget about all that. How do you get me, another human person, okay, to want to choose more security, okay, over less, to choose more over less? Security is like health. You can always be more or less healthy. I don't care where you are on the spectrum. You can always be more or less healthy. Same with security. In any second, any millisecond, you can always be more or less. Okay. We want to get people to choose more. That's the goal. All right. You're not going to scare me into choosing more. You're not. You're not. Okay. That stuff works for hack. Now listen, when criminal hackers come to you with something in the email saying, hey, your mom was just injured, she really needs some help right now. If you can really quickly click on this, you know, click here and just add some money to the pot, you know, we'll be able to do something for her. I mean, that's like an immediate, like, what? Like my mom, you know, and you're talking to people's emotions now. You got emotions involved. So when you have emotions involved, remember when I told y'all that hardware and like physical and logical, the difference, where the physical is like the blood and the DNA, the stuff that's supposed to stay there, and the logical is like emotions, because software changes the state of hardware. Okay, cyber criminals know that software changes the state of hardware. That's what they're trying to do when they try to evoke your emotions, either to make you, upset or angry or whatever it'll take for you to bypass that thinking and do what they want you to do, which is that clicking behavior. That's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get that clicking behavior. All right. They're trying to get you to be less secure. Okay. And they can do that like really quickly with emotion. Because, that's how people are. Right. We do a lot of crap we never would have done if we'd have just stopped and thought about it. Okay. But we're ruled largely by emotion, aren't we? Absolutely. And it's not all, good emotion, bad, it don't matter. We're largely ruled by that. Tupac, I'd rather be feared than loved. Okay. All right, Tupac. But that's the way we are, and they recognize that, and they play on that. They're not the only ones. Okay, I already told y'all, good advertisers play on that. They know this. Okay, they play on those emotions. The person you married to right now played on that. They know that. They knew how to get that, will you marry me? Stop. But they did, didn't they? So that works for the short term. That works for the short term. We're not looking for short term, okay? We want intrinsic, motivation to be more secure than less secure. There was this guy that I was watching who was talking about how he got a lot of, when he was young, got a lot of deals to do different things. I think he was like a club promoter or something. And he just got really, fortunate. So he was going to, clubs with all these famous people and stuff, and he was making a lot of money. But he was also, going out late at night and, coming back and eating and then going to bed. So he saw himself like he was ballooning, like he was really, really gaining a lot of weight. And he was like, man, I tried all kinds of stuff and I just, I just couldn't change anything I was doing. So he said one day he went to this gym, and the guy said to him, so he was doing push-ups or something that was really painful and he wanted to stop. Okay. And he said the trainer told him, he said, listen, I know you want to stop, but let me tell you what's happening right now. He said, when you feel pain, okay, pain is simply all that weakness leaving your body. Okay. So we said, when you feel that, I need you to see that that's what that is. That's what's happening. Okay. That's just weakness, leaving your body. He said, when that dude told him that, it was like a switch went off in his head. Okay. I don't know if it was on this channel, on one of the channels. I don't know, child. I got so many. When I said fundamentally for human beings, we're doing one of two things always. Me being on this channel, you being here, whatever you had for dinner, the person you have conversations with, and in every moment, we're doing one of two things, okay? We're either moving away from pain or moving towards pleasure. So it's really like one thing, right? And that's what we're looking to do. When we try to come up with solutions, it's like, which one of these things will move me away from pain? Okay. Or which one of these things will move me closer to pleasure? Okay. That's the question. So when that guy told him that, okay, the pain that he was feeling when he was working out, doing all these push-ups, he wanted to stop the muscle failure, the 5 more, man, get the hell out of my face. The pain he was feeling, he did it. He had translated it into him moving more toward pleasure. Okay. So anytime he felt that pain, it was to service of moving towards pleasure. You understand what I'm saying? That's intrinsic. All that the guy didn't tell him, if you don't exercise, you're gonna die, your heart is gonna plug up, the blood is your hair is gonna fall out, your wife is gonna leave you. None of that, no. None of that. All he did, and I don't even know if he did it consciously. It could be something he tells all his clients. I don't know, but what he did was he gave him something. He gave him a little something, okay, that he then used to find his own reason to choose to move toward better health. Okay. He did that. The guy, like the guy exercising did that, not his coach or not his trainer. Okay. That's what we need. We need cybersecurity coaches, trainers, whatever the hell. Okay. To give people that one thing, like what is going to work here that you can take, okay, and translate into your choice to move more towards security, because that's what's going to last. Okay. We need to do more thinking about this. The hands-on is beautiful. I love everybody saw my hands-on. Good. That's good. We need some minds on, some neurons on. Okay. A lot of the stuff that's going on, because, listen, I was in an organization, all the technical training in the world ain't gonna help you when people got attitudes, okay, attitude issues, issues interacting with other people. They don't care what you got and and they didn't teach you in those things. How do I interact with somebody who seems like they're just determined to get me out of here? They're doing everything they can to make me look incompetent, to make me feel like I'm not contributing. How do you deal with that other than leaving? Okay. We have to, Professor Black Ops, I talk about this soft training all the time. Okay. Because that's what I see. I see so many issues related to not knowing how to interact with another human person, okay, in a way that's going to benefit you both. That's going to benefit both of y'all, okay? I don't see that, I just don't. And it's not all training, because, training is not the answer for everything, okay? It is not. However, a basic awareness, okay, can go a long way. Basic awareness can go a very long way, and some practice, okay? Because now hands-on training for soft skills is like, and the same thing for technical skills, okay? Wherever you can, I always give you a shout out for the soft skills. Thank you. I know you do. Thank you, Professor Black Ops. So something that, and I tell Dr. Phillips is he'll tell you all the time, when you're talking about hands-on for this, that, or the other thing, okay, technical or soft, you, in some kind of way, you gotta evoke emotion some kind of way. Because I just said that everything we do, everything has, first of all, it's called choice. Okay, I'm gonna get a little academic with y'all here though, but it's interesting stuff. So choice theory, right? Choice theory, I forget the dude who came up with it, but it used to be called change theory. It was first called change theory, right? It was just a theory of how change happens, okay? But then they changed it to choice choice theory, because a major part of choice theory is called total behavior. I don't know if I said that on this channel before, but y'all gonna hear it again if I do. It's called total behavior. And what it says is behavior is made of four things. Four things, behavior. However you're behaving and acting right now, you got three other things going on, okay, that you're not even aware of, okay? So of course there's acting, and acting is what you see. You see me waving my hands and, you know, doing all that stuff, right? You see me talking and all this, my blinking, whatever. That's what you see, that's acting. But you also have at the very same time, okay, that acting is happening, you have thinking. You have thinking going on too. You have feeling. I'm feeling, okay? So what am I feeling right now as I'm talking about all this stuff? And you have physiology, okay? Again, back to the hardware. Like you got stuff actually going on in your physical body, right? That goes right along with the way people see you acting right now, okay? Daryl, I put harassment cases on all my problem people. Once they get that call from HR, seems like all my people problems. Daryl, you can't do that. You do that? You put harassment cases on everybody, and then is quiet as a mouse, right? I'm interviewing a PMO on Agile and soft skills because a lot of cybersecurity people can't communicate to customers. Hey, Mark, how you doing? How you doing? And why is that, Professor Black Ops? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, listen, there's a person who I just don't get it. You know, I don't understand. Like, so that there is no line of demarcation between work and life. Okay, we know that there's no work-life balance. No. That stuff all meshed and molded and, you know, all together. Okay, it's all integrated. All right. So, you know, you're going to bring stuff from the house, you know, to work with you. Everybody does, you know, and vice versa. You know, and vice versa. But there seems to be an art in not separating, because they can't be separated, but into being able to, like, it's not balance. It's like this thing that goes like this, like you prioritize, you know, based on your situation or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, so, you know, when you come into work, some things must rise, you know, up above. You don't leave this other stuff because it's not going anywhere. However, there's an art to prioritization. Let me just say it like that, you know, an art to, you know, being able to relate in a certain way, in a certain space, you know, type thing. I get, you know, but and shall some folks struggle. They really do. They really do. They really do struggle. Hey, Samri, is that right? Samri Bliss, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah. So I mean, there is absolutely an art to that. So now this isn't hard. All the stuff I'm saying, it's really not hard, but it does need to be first you need to be aware of it, okay? And then if you're really serious about being there to spark a culture of security, you know, you're going to have to practice it. You're going to have to practice it too, okay? And I know that we definitely have the brain power to do it, okay? We do. However, we're going to have to release our grip on all things IT and cybersecurity in order to do it. Okay, we're going to have to let go a little bit, okay, and feel like the only learning we can get to make us better is another cert or more technical skill or, you know, more hacking or no. you're gonna have to go and take a calligraphy class or something. You know, you're gonna have to volunteer at a daycare center. You take some marketing course. You know, you're gonna have to. You gotta get out to get in. You understand? If you're really going to, first, you know, leave some kind of a legacy, which a lot of us want to do. Okay, you ain't leaving nothing if you waiting for the next person to step somewhere so you can step in where they just stepped. You know, ain't nobody gonna know who you are or what you're doing. Okay, that footprint's already there. Where yours at? That's the question. Where is your footprint? That one's already there. Okay, and what, we just gonna wait? Let's wait until the hacker does another hack so we can see what they did, and then let's run and try to figure out where your footprint at. Where is your footprint? Huh? A lot of brilliant IT people are on the spectrum. Well, a lot of brilliant people in a lot of professions, I think, Professor Blackock, are on the spectrum. They have a different way of taking in information, right? Now, I don't know anybody personally on the spectrum, but I don't think it's a requirement, though. I mean, I think you got a lot of brilliant IT people who just don't know. Okay, so I feel like, and I told Dr. Phillips this, is like, you know, a lot of it is our fault. Okay, as people who've been here for, now I've only been here like 2 years, child, but you know, I'm here, and a lot of it is our fault. Okay, for people who are coming to us, hey, what, and the question, even the questions they're asking, you know, tell us how we're falling down as far as communicating this to people. One of the things that I had folks do in the Linux risk management thing, right, is go, you know what, I could do it right here. I said, Google, go ahead and Google, let me do it over here so I can show y'all what I'm talking about. This is where we're falling down. Evidence. Let me show you evidence. Okay. All of us, evidence of where we're falling down. I say falling down because we're the first one to talk about security and being more secure and, you know, not doing stuff that's going to compromise this, that, and users are the weakest. You know, that's all we talk about. Okay. But we talk about it, but we don't be about it. Okay. So let me show you this right here. Hold on a second. What I got up here. Let me share this screen. Y'all see that? Okay. So what I said was, go ahead and Google, what did I say? What the hell did I say? I said like household security. Is that what I said? Something like that. Or security, home security. That's what I said. I said home security. Same thing, household, home, whatever. Now look at these pictures. You see what comes up here? Home security, household security. You got a house there. You got all these security devices. Here's a house with a thing in there. Tips with the home. Here's a person doing stuff. I guess they have that smart stuff, you know, to set their security at home. What is, okay, this person is doing something with that regarding their home. Here's some person trying to get in. Another person, look, these household food security plan. Okay, that's cool. The lady sitting there, Brinks stuff. What else we got here? Here's another lady in her house setting something. She got a laptop right there. Another person, assuming they're in their house. So you see, there's like a theme here. You have devices, okay? And you have people here, and I guess these are like the people who get the call if somebody breaks in or something, right? Here's a key, and I guess that's the lock right there. Somebody giving instruction, whatever. All right, so you see, now who are these people that you're seeing mostly, okay? Some of them are like security people, like this guy right here. These people right here, they're painting, so I guess they're the homeowners, okay? Many of these folks, most of these folks, look at this lady with her baby and the dog and all that, okay? They're the homeowner. Like, they're the people who are going to be impacted if some shit pop off, okay? Look at all these kids and stuff, okay? Now let me type it. Y'all know what's coming, okay? Let me type in, let's do computer. Look at this. Look at this. You see locks up the yin yang, first of all, on laptops. Okay, I don't know who that is. That's a person right there. There's somebody somewhere doing something. That's somebody, looks like they're in an office or whatever. You know, this may be somebody working on something. That's like an employee, maybe. Look at all these animations and locks and pics and, you know, look at all the locks and the words and the, I mean, where, this is, she probably working networking or something like that. You know, what kind of, who is that? This is totally different. This is totally different, okay, than what you saw before. Now, something I said on, what did you say, Professor Black Ops? Amazon got the home drone to fly through your house. Now, what? Oh my goodness. I'm sure you did a video on that. I'm gonna have to look at that. So the thing here is, like, this is so, like, not personal. Oh, here you go. That's good. I've never seen that before. Like a family or something sitting down. This is good. This is good right here. That I'm assuming she's a person, like just a regular old person. Okay. But the point is here, the majority of what you see here is about locking something down. Okay. Which is not security. It's not. All these locks and shit, that's not security. Who's security? Who? Okay. Let me stop sharing so y'all can see my whole face when I talk about this, okay? Now we're back to a person choosing, okay? When you impose security on somebody, and I said this in Alpha Cyber's thing the other day, okay? What was the comment? I forgot what the thing was, but I was commenting on something that somebody said. I said, when you impose security on somebody, you know what that means? When you say you will be secure, okay, you will be. And I'm gonna put this lock here. I'm gonna put this lock on the window. I'm gonna put this lock on the door. I'm gonna put this lock on the refrigerator. I'm gonna put this lock on the cabinets, on the car, because you know what? You will be secure, okay? I am responsible for your security. So I'm going to secure you, okay? I'm imposing this. What is it called when you impose security on somebody, okay? Is that what we're telling people in jail? You will be secure? I mean, you know, that's a prison. I don't care how you look at it, what you call it security from now until Jesus come back, okay? That is imprisonment, is what that is, okay? Whether it really is or not, the idea that you are forcing somebody, and again, we're talking about humans here, okay? The same thing you are. The same thing you are. When you are forcing somebody to be secure, I mean, what are you really doing? My banner, you see this right here? You see this banner, Person-Centered Cyber? Under that are the words, freedom to be secure. Freedom to be secure. Just like we have the freedom to be healthy. Okay? Is anybody monitoring what you buy when you go to the grocery store and saying, listen, I'm going to impose health upon you and forbid you from buying with your own money, okay, this, that, this, and this, because I want you to be healthy. Come on now. I am imposing health on you, okay? I will make you get up in the morning, okay, basic training, and walk this 12-mile, what the hell they call them things? March, okay? I love those though. I didn't mind the marches. The running, I couldn't stand. I couldn't take it. So unless you in basic training, all right, and you know what you signed up for, okay, and they telling you what you can and can't eat and when and how you do this and that or whatever, unless you have signed up for that, all right, for this certain amount of time, I mean, how would you react to that? Somebody imposing health on you, telling you, okay, for you to be healthy, you got to stop dating this lady because she is not good for your emotional health, okay? You got to stop looking at these movies and playing these games because they're not good, okay, for your mental health. You got to stop eating this stuff. You got to stop traveling to this place because it's not good for your bank, your financial health, okay? Child, you, listen. Do y'all see what I'm saying though? You can't impose security on somebody. It's going to backfire all the time. Every time it's going to backfire. Okay? We're working a lot harder than we have to. We really are. Okay? It is easier to catch flies with sugar than vinegar. It's a lot easier. Okay? A lot easier. Hey, Maddox, how you doing? So y'all, now I'm not saying anything new. I'm not. Like this stuff, I learned all this stuff back in, when I was first starting in learning and development. Because learning is the same way. It's the same way. Y'all should see what I told. Listen, I have on my learning channel, I have this video called Decolonizing Learning. It's called Decolonizing Learning. Because, I mean, that's what I do. Like I create curricula and I do all that stuff, okay? And I teach, as but back to the choice theory. So I was talking about the choice theory, right? And the four things that go into behavior. So the same thing, you cannot, and I'm making a whole thing just for instructors, okay? Because I cannot stand, listen, I've sat through so many courses, okay, with people who knew like everything there was to know about whatever the topic was. Like program evaluation was one of the areas that I love and I work in. So I would sit in classes like that with people who had done so many things in that area. And I'd be taught that, and told all the stuff they knew and expected to, like, my mind is like empty, right? So as they're talking, all their words are dropping down into my head and, flowing through my membranes, whatever the hell they thought was going on, okay? When in actuality, I'm trying to think of something to keep myself awake, for this class that I signed up for, trying not to be rude, falling asleep and all that. So the way that I told it on my channel, right, is like, and I don't care who get mad, I don't, because I know somebody will get upset, okay? So I define learning and teaching the same way, the sharing of perspective and experience. That's it. It's real simple. And empathy. Learning, teaching, and empathy all mean the same thing, okay? according to Cheryl, all right? Sharing of perspective and experience, okay? And the way that teachers teach nowadays, okay, and it'll take my kids to tell you, all right? But the way teachers teach is like, and I've said this, I know I've said this on this channel before, but it's like when a baby, like for those of you who have, you know, little babies or little cousins or whatever, you know, which is beginning to walk, or siblings or something. And y'all know how that happens, right? They take a couple steps and they fall. You know, mom or dad or whomever might be in front of them, encouraging them to come on. Or you might even begin by holding their, you know, putting your fingers in between their hands, you know, to help them out a little bit, right? But eventually, what do? You get the hell out of the way eventually, right? Because now here they go, they get up, they fall. They get up, they fall, they get up, they take a few steps, they hold on to something, all that, and it all works out every time. Okay, it all works out. That's how you started, okay? The same thing with learning English. You knew English, if you're an American looking at this, okay? You knew how to speak English years before you went to school. Years. You ain't sitting in front of nobody taking no classes on how to speak. You know, mama could have been like, you know, say cat or say what, but you weren't in no classroom for 8 hours, you know, learning, you know, talking baby talk until you learn how to speak it. No, it don't work like that. Okay. There are plants. There's a video on YouTube called, there's several of them, but this is the one I used years ago when I had to, y'all give me a second. I can't type and talk at the same time. It's called, it's from the Nature Channel, PBS, right? It's called the Daughter Vine. So just go to YouTube and click in the Daughter Vine, and it'll show you these individuals. They did an experiment, okay, about how plants make decisions. Decision making from plants, okay? It's very interesting, and that's not the only one. So the thing is that first of all, learning is not relegated to human animals, all right? Even plants learn. You ain't the only one who can learn, okay? So that's number one, all right? Number two, learning has nothing to do with training and education, okay? It is as far away from training and education as Pluto is from your living room, okay? That's number two. Number three, everything already knows how to learn. That baby didn't need you, okay? To you know, it didn't need you. The learning would have happened already. Things mature naturally, don't they? They mature, and there is no this is better than that. When a plant is like little like this, right, compared to one that's like this plant isn't better than that one. This one has just had more time to mature. There is no better or this one is improved. I mean, you know, another thing that we get wrong, right? But learning is always happening all the time, everywhere. Okay, think of that as like the landscape, like the whole, like that's just everything. And it's not just about human minds, okay? In order for you to be trained or educated, now I'm gonna need you to catch this. Y'all know y'all gonna get something different when you come over here, right? You know you're gonna hear something different, okay? In order for you to be trained or educated, what you have to do is you have to suppress the natural learning, okay? Because the way you design training and education, you got to get in the way of the natural process, because what you're saying is, instead of you doing it that way, I need you to do it this way, okay? So let's move this to the side and let's design the training or the education in this direction, okay? You understand? So that's what I want you to know. That's how I want you to know it. That's why you will never, all this training and stuff that we get, all these certifications and all that we get, okay, that happens at the expense of learning, okay? That happens at the expense of learning, which is why you can always ask questions about stuff, always, because there's so much more to it than what you've been taught, than how you've been educated, than how you've been trained, okay? So somebody said recently, when I asked them, well, did you ask about this or did you try that? And the answer I got was, well, that's not how I was trained. Okay. The point is, especially in this arena, okay, you can ask questions where there are already answers, okay? You can. I don't care who's the father of what, all right? You can ask questions where there's already answers. Hey, Keep It Techie, how you doing? How you doing? And that's what we're gonna have to do, y'all. I'm talking to my folks here. Folks, I'm talking to you. Recently, I think it was like a month or so ago, I showed y'all the research that I did when I saw that this guy posted a poster of like all the people who had contributed to learning and human resources in 100 years, right? Y'all remember that? And there were very few. I mean, I could count them on one hand, melanated individuals, okay? The first time I saw that poster, I was like, first of all, that's a lie. First of all, that's a lie, okay? Second of all, I'm gonna find it, okay? I'm going to do my own, and it took a while. It did take a while, okay? Because, you know, stuff be erased out. Why is it in 2021? Many of us are hearing for the first time about something called, what's that in Tulsa there? You know, Black Wall Street, 2021. Folks didn't even know Black Wall Street. Like what happened, you know? So I'm saying that to say, we can ask questions, okay? It doesn't have to be, oh, that's the way I was trained, or that's what I was told, or that's what CompTIA wrote in the book, or that's what EC Council said, or that's what they made, you know, 20 years ago when they first created computers, or that's where, you know, no. That may be the case, but that does not stop us from asking questions and doing something different, okay? It doesn't stop us from doing that, okay? Just to say, oh, somebody already answered that question. Child, please. Please. If y'all don't know by now, okay, I am the queen of questions, all right? I got whole techniques, right, used to really ask questions. And when I saw this daughter vine video and I saw that tomato plant, like this tomato plant, did you hear what I said? It actually wasn't the plant, it was the vine, the daughter vine. So what they did was so daughter vines like tomato plants, so like a parasite, okay? And they live off of tomato plants. Tomato plants help them live the longest, you know, as parasites, right? So these people did this experiment where they had a tomato plant and they put it in time lapse, right? And to see where the daughter vine was going to go. It's a tomato plant, then a regular one that wouldn't give the daughter vine as much nutrients as the tomato. Round and round. They did it several times. The daughter vine, every time it went to the tomato plant, every time. Then they did one where they took the tomato plant out, okay? So they had just the regular thing. We all need to do a hangout. Absolutely. I think that's a great idea, Maddox. So they had just the regular plant, right? And then they had like the pheromones of the tomato plant and the daughter vine around and around and around. Where'd it go? Right to the pheromones of the tomato plant. Now, it was this and a lot, I mean, there's so much stuff to read and see out there regarding this. I was convinced. I was like, listen, and I never in my ever I had never even thought that something else could learn outside of a human mind, that something else could actually learn. I never even thought of that, you know. But, you know, after seeing this, I was like, okay, so that makes so much sense. It really does make a lot of sense. Okay. Now, if a parasitic vine can learn, we ain't got no business as human beings talking about, oh, I can't do that because that's not how I was trained. Come on now. Like, really? Seriously. You know, so there's just a lot of room for a lot of things in cybersecurity. From the way that we address reporting, the way we see reporting, the way we see our role in organizations, okay? The way we see how we are attempting to impose security on human animals, okay? Knowing God darn well, okay, that don't even work on us, all right? Unless we're getting something out of it, okay, which is a totally different thing, right? I mean, there's just a lot we can do. There's a lot, and there's a lot that leadership can do too. There really is. I'm talking about CISOs and CIOs, and you know, the whole C-suite, the entire C-suite. We could be much further along as far as secure cultures in organizations if we just look at things differently, y'all. And just not go along with that, going along with the flow. That bothers me. Okay, that really does. Especially if the flow ain't getting you nothing. You know, what's the flow getting you? I mean, you just going for what? I mean, it's just it bothers me. But that's just me. Okay, y'all. Everybody got their own road to hoe. Okay, you got your own road to hoe. I get it. But I'm gonna talk about it though. You know, if you don't hear it nowhere else. Person centered cyber is gonna say it. And I'm actually right now, this very second, now that I got done with ITF, A+ is next. Okay. But I'm gonna fit this in because I'm doing a small playbook, okay, with a lot of these concepts that I'm talking about, like, you know, blue team members, you know, being able to find vulnerability. I envision like a SEAL Team 6 blue team, that type of thing, right? Where you're just really going into organizations, like, I mean, and just not fixing them, but I mean, just coming up with innovative, amazing things for this organization as far as the whole information system, not just the hardware and the software, okay? I'm talking about the connections, the communication, the wetware, okay, which is people, okay? The whole information system, not just relegated, you know, to those other things, all right? Or the things that we're typically talking about. When we think information system, we think about, you know, computers and the network or whatever, but the whole thing, the way NIST defines it, okay? All of that, which includes the person, okay, which includes people. Now, I know that we're trying our hardest. We're trying our hardest to get away from human decision making. I know it. Don't you think I know it? Okay, I do. I sent somebody at work this whole, it's called the 10, what the hell is it called that I sent? It's like the 10 top human errors or something like that, right? Like the things that we just, man, you know, we just fall down on, like almost all the time, okay? Because our attention is somewhere else, or where we don't have the same understanding as this other person has when you say a certain thing, you know, which happens a lot. You know, if I say IT system to somebody, they will be thinking a different thought than I. Now I'm gonna have a whole conversation about an IT system, okay? And they're going in a totally different direction than I am because we have different definitions in our heads, about it. And I'm just assuming you're thinking the same thing I am. Something really good. What time is it? I need to get on my other channel. Something really good. Y'all do this exercise, right, for people. And I did this with Dr. Phillips too, because he be thinking, know what the hell he talking about, okay? And I'm like, well, can you, like, what do you mean by, and it's like a simple word, right? Like, what do you mean by, you know, I don't know, what the hell, network? Like, what are you talking about when you say that? Can you be specific? But what's happening is, it's called a tapping exercise, right? So what you do is you think of a fairy tale that everybody knows, like, not a fairy tale, like a song, like Old MacDonald, okay? And what you do is you get a song in your mind. For the other person, y'all do this when you go to work tomorrow. For the other person, what you're gonna do, don't tell them the song you're thinking, but tap it out, like on the table or on, you know, somewhere where they can hear you tapping, and tell them to identify what that song is that you're tapping, okay? I'm telling you, 9.999 times out of 10, they won't know. And then you're like, you can't tell what this is? Because you have all the information. You got all the background, you got the band playing, you got, you know, you got the acoustics happening. All of that is in your head. All I hear is some tapping on the table. That's what happens when we talk to other people a lot of times. I say network, I got a picture in my head. I know the conversation I had 5 minutes ago with this person. I know what I just read in the report. I know all that, okay? You hear network. So all you got to go on is what you think I'm talking about, okay? And just assume, oh, we on the same page, okay? But a lot of times we're not, okay? That's why operationally defining stuff in policy, hello? And memoranda, you can't just be throwing words in there, okay, thinking that all 10,000 people who read this are gonna know what you mean when you don't define it. You know, I can't stand that mess. I really can't. Yet the 5 of us know what this means. But what about the 9,995 others that have to read this and do what it's telling them to do? You know, define that stuff. Y'all can tell they get on my nerves, right? Ooh, child. All right, I've been on here talking long enough. Thank y'all so much for being here. You're reading this 800-53R5R5 is new revision. A new revision? A new revision of what? I know, what did NIST? NIST always coming out with some stuff. I didn't know NIST had anything to do with NTP. I had no idea. I really didn't know. I didn't know that. So that was a surprise to me that NIST got their hand in everything. NIST and DOD. I mean, they just got all kind of stuff going on, right? Let me tell y'all. So if y'all, let me give you the phone number right here. I gotta call my mama too to tell her, what is it? Where is it here? What's the daggone number? Oh, I'm on videos. Here you go. Now this is where I am. I don't know if this is the same for everybody, but you can call. I was telling everybody, for those of you who weren't here, they do special publications on a whole bunch of things. This is the number to call the time. When you call that number, you're going to get that guy. He's dead now, but he's been telling the time since like 1925 or something, right? At the U.S. Naval Organization or something. So he will tell you like the universe, like the universal time, right? And it's so neat because I was telling them before how my mom used to have me call the time back. You know, we lived in Southern Louisiana. We probably didn't have clocks or so. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to ask her. Why was I calling time? We have no clocks in the house. But yeah, so I remember that. So the other day when I was looking up time, I was like, do they still do that? Because time is everywhere now. You know, every you can't get away from it. Shoot, it's on everything. And they do. It's really, really cool. I was so happy. But it was a woman. When I called back then, it was a woman who told the time. So I don't know if they have it in different states or so. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, but that was real neat. So y'all call the time. Okay, make sure you got it right. All right, because you know you're consumers of time. Okay, make sure you got it right. All right, so I'm about to go and talk about some other stuff, chill. So I'll see y'all later. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for being here and hearing me, you know, pontificate about all the various things that I talk about. So what am I? Yeah, so next I'm starting on the A+ stuff, and hopefully we can get this risk management thing out the door. It's gonna be good though. I think it's finally out there. We're on the STIGs now, Professor Black Ops. We're doing STIGs for Linux. Okay, so you know, we're talking about that and doing some examples and stuff like that. And you know what I love too is that oh, before I go, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. I have been looking up stuff regarding the kernel, okay, for weeks now. I mean, I've just been engulfed in learning about the kernel, like what the hell this thing is, how it works, the different parts, what does it have to do with the hardware and all that, right? And programming. So programming has come into it a little bit too, right? So I'm reading the stuff, all right, and I'm looking at, it's mostly Linux stuff, right? And keep it techie, you still in here? So I was like, you know what? The kernel is a server. Like it acts just like a server, okay? Because nothing can get to what it's requesting from the hardware, you know, be it processing power or space or whatever the hell. It can't get to that without going through the kernel, okay? Right? Doesn't a server, like the whole server client model, right? It's like the applications are the client and the kernel is the server, giving the client what it's asking for so that it can do what it, see, keep it techie, look, if keep it techie said, then that's what it is. And I'm like, oh man, so I started trying to look for stuff like, you know, the kernel is like the server or whatever. But I couldn't find what I was actually asking for. Because my question was, who owns the data on my computer? All right. I don't own no servers out there. Wherever I'm requesting stuff from, that stuff ain't mine. It's just, I don't know who is, you know, I assume it's for whoever owns the server. I mean, who owns the data in Google server? Now, listen, I know Google, they will say, because I read how they say you own your own data. But I feel like that's not all the way true. Because just like how Facebook a while ago, Professor Black Ops, you had this video about this, how they were hacked, right? And all this data of millions of people was stolen. And their response was, I mean, as half-hearted could get. Because it's like, okay, let's say Google is, you know, I do own my data. Okay, this is my data, right? But if somebody else gets it, and this is what makes data different than money and other valuable things, right? If somebody else gets it, I still have it. But now they have it too and can profit from it, okay? Probably better in ways that I can't, okay? I mean, I don't know, you know, definitely in ways that I can't. Keep it techie, that's not true. Google owns your data. See, they said, listen, I'm telling you, keep it techie. I read, because I typed that in. Okay, let me see what they said. Because I know I read, Google said you own your data. That's exactly what they said. Let me see, make sure I ain't crazy. Because I was wondering, like on my own PC, the operating system, if the operating system, the kernel is like a server, okay? The data it's pulling, it's not mine. Is it? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out if I stop, because I lease my operating system from Windows, right? Like if I stop paying for Windows 10 or Windows whatever, like if I just give up on Windows, all this stuff that I'm entering in this computer, all the stuff that's saved in my hard drive or you know, or in the cloud, you know, because normally for a business, right, when you have shareholders and then you have the business and the CEO and all that, when the business makes money, that goes to the shareholders, don't it? Because they actually own it. All right. Facebook ain't paying me for the money they make off my data. Google ain't paying me. You know what I mean? So is it really mine? I mean, oh yeah, come on, keep it techie, because I'm gonna be asking questions till the cows come home. Because I am really curious, and I it's like I'm trying to ask the right question, but I don't know if I'm asking the right question to get to what I'm trying to get to. Let me see what they said. Good. I dropped the link. Keep it techie. Let me see. Uh-huh. So maybe they're wording it in a way to make me think. But that's what it sounds like they're saying here. Hey, keep it techie.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad you're coming up here because I've been noodling this for weeks now, trying to figure out what the deal is.
Yeah. I got you. So this is something that I kind of talk about a lot as far as privacy. I just did a video earlier today about privacy
Oh,
and
did you?
basically
I have to
talking
look at
about,
that.
yeah, just talking about how to anonymize yourself on the internet. But I've always, try to stress and tell people that uh, Google, they take your data and they can use it however they see fit. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can request to delete it, but do you really know if they deleting it or not? You
Right.
don't
Right.
really know, at the end of the day. It's not like they're, confirming that they actually deleted this stuff off the server. So and then back to what you was talking about with the kernel is an open source. It's basically the base operating system, the kernel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if we talk about Windows as well, they have their own kernel, but it's closed source, so they
Yeah.
own that portion of it. That's copyrighted and everything. But the difference between Windows and Linux, the Linux kernel is open source, so you can actually go onto GitHub and
Mm-hmm.
look at all the code that was written for the Linux kernel. And basically the kernel is just interacting with the hardware. It's like the first line of defense to the hardware. And so, or not first the program that interacts with the hardware
Mm-hmm.
at the
Mm-hmm.
base level. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you get into distributions, all the distributions is things, programs and applications put on top of the kernel to
Yeah.
run, and interact with the hardware through the kernel. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
all open source as well. So like, for instance, Kali Linux,
Mm-hmm.
all they doing is taking the Linux kernel, whichever
Mm-hmm.
kernel that they're using, and put their tools and test all their tools, test their desktop environment, test, all the applications that are pre-installed on the operating system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and excuse me, and then putting it out as a release or a distribution.
Right. Right.
And they putting a stamp of their name on it.
So let me
But
ask
they
you,
all have the same kernel.
right. So what
Hmm.
I was wondering about, so because Microsoft, like I get that that's their proprietary and they do what they do with that. My question about Linux though, knowing that it's open source and you can't sell it, right? You can't sell a Linux thing. Is that right? Like you have to offer it for free if you make a distribution or something. Like you
Hold
could
on, say
probably
that
sell
again.
the, can you sell, you can't sell a Linux distro. Like it has to be
Yeah,
free, right?
you actually can. Certain instances. You're some people, they'll sell a distribution that they created,
Mm-hmm.
just putting their own spin on things. Like there's one out there for it's it's a Windows clone type
Mm-hmm.
of operating system where it's a Linux operating system, but it looks and feels just
Looks
like
like
Windows. So
Windows, yeah.
somebody actually, they sell it for like $10 or so like that, but they're not actually selling the kernel. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know the I don't know the I guess the laws behind it, or I guess the legal part of it
Mm-hmm.
behind it, how they're able to do that, but
Mm-hmm.
there are some distributions out there that do
Okay.
that. But you're right. Essentially, you're right. The Linux kernel is open source. It's not
Right.
supposed to be. You're not supposed to be selling it. That's why Red Hat, which is one of multi-million-dollar company,
Mm-hmm.
they can't sell it. What
Mm-hmm.
they sell to companies is the service, the support and service.
Mm-hmm.
So just sending people out to work on their Red Hat server in their
Mm-hmm.
environment. That's what they sell.
Right.
So that's how they make their money.
So my
Right.
question though, so when it comes
Hmm.
to Linux and being open source and
Hmm.
and uh like when I put Kali on my computer,
Hmm.
when I download it into VirtualBox,
Hmm.
it uses my hardware. So it still uses my Microsoft kernel, doesn't it? To
No.
access what it needs? Or
Mm-mm.
how do those two kernels interact? I mean, how does that
Uh,
happen?
well, it depends on how you have it set up. Now, if you wipe Windows off, the only thing that's on there is Linux, and that's the only thing that's
Well, I still
working on
have
your
Windows
system.
on
But
here.
if you like
Yeah.
put it in a virtual machine or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
then it's that virtual machine is Linux based, but is sitting on top of Windows
Right.
at the end
So
of the
it's
day. So it's
still
still Windows.
yeah. So the
Yeah,
Windows kernel is still involved
yeah,
in getting
yeah,
resources and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It's actually the application that's sitting on top of Windows that's
Uh-huh.
seeing what
Oh,
you're
okay.
actually
Yeah.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, it's essentially not Windows, but the base operating system is Windows on your system. So yeah. And
Right.
same thing with Mac. You can install VirtualBox on the Mac and or VMware. I think you could install VMware. I'm not 100% sure, but I know VirtualBox can be installed on there. It's still a Mac, you know what I'm saying? It's just you have a virtualized computer on your
Mm-hmm.
system, and that's why they break it up into two different ports. You have your host operating system, which is your Windows operating system in your case, and then you got your guest
Yeah.
operating system, which is whatever you install on that guest. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So how do the operating system? Am I asking that right? So now I got two different operating. So is I have two different operating systems on one machine, or no, or I don't. I just have one.
You just have one.
I
You
just
just
have
have
one,
an application
and I have an
that
app. Okay.
is a hypervisor that basically uses you. It uses your hardware on there, shares your hardware with this application, and then the application is creating like a virtualized computer
Yeah.
within your computer. And that's where you installing the operating system, and it's kind of self-contained,
Mm-hmm.
if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. It's like
It does.
yeah, it's kind of like, well, you get more into it when you start looking at containers as well. Containers is a little bit more in depth. It gets rid
Now,
of the hypervisor,
yeah,
and
that's
it
a whole
uses part of
another.
the operating system. Yeah, I know. I opened
I
up another
have
can of
so I
worms.
have Docker on my other thing over here. I
Hmm.
need a whole degree to try to figure out what's
Yeah.
going on. It's probably real simple, but I
Hmm.
just I don't
Yeah.
know. Do you have Docker videos? Because I need to watch that stuff. Like I
No, I
really do.
actually don't. I've done videos on LXD and LXC, which is pretty much an application that does the exact same thing as Docker. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just was created by Canonical, I believe, a while back, and it's used on Ubuntu's
Okay.
operating systems, and you can install it on other operating systems, like any other Linux distribution. You can install LXD, LXC, and that's basically a containerized program or application that allows you to run small containers on your system.
Right.
So, yeah.
So my main question with all this, right, was related to the data that I am entering in my machine, like right here. Like who does it belong to? Like, I know I have it saved, I got a whole hard drive with stuff backed up and all that, but does somebody else own it and have control of it too?
At the end of the day, since you use Windows,
Yes.
at the end of the day, you do not own that operating system. So anything you put on it is technically owned by Microsoft, as long as you maintain a license, which you don't have no recurring fee on it, but as long as you maintain a license on it, you're basically allowed to use the operating system, but you don't, like, you can't own the operating system itself, and your data on there, they have access to it. I don't know if you've ever seen those videos on telemetry data. They basically, they have things running in the background on your operating system that's sending information back to Microsoft. And so it's a whole
That's scary. That sounds
privacy
really
nightmare.
frightening. Like, that
Yeah,
really does. Oh
yeah,
my
because
goodness.
they own it at the end of the day. And that's why you can go in and actually turn off this stuff. I don't know if you remember when you first set up your laptop, when you bought it, it walks you through those steps of creating your account. And then, well, one of those steps is it's a privacy, are the privacy settings. So they have telemetry data. They have, most people just skip past it and just agree to it all.
Yeah.
But most people agree to send information back to Windows.
Man, I know what that stuff meant. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this thing set up.
Yeah. Yep. And that's how most people think, and they just agree to it. And
I will look into it now. You said I
yeah,
could change it if I
yeah,
want
you can go
to.
in and change it. Yeah, you can go in and change it, as well as like location data. You don't know what they're doing with that stuff. I always turn it off. You know what I'm saying? And it's more about convenience. That's why they put it in there or whatever, because most people, oh, this will be convenient. If I lose my laptop, I can, you know, pull up the device. As long as someone turns it on, I could pull it up and find out exactly where that device is. It's kind of like your phone. It's got that location stuff on it as well, that basically tracks your phone, tracks your movement. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but you know how people say about the microchips and all that stuff. Well, this is that microchip now. You know what I'm saying? Because it tracks everything you do.
It does.
Everything you do. Same thing with your computers. They put all that where they're tracking data, and all that tracking data and data about what you're using the actual computer for. They track that information. Yep. And they can use it. And what they say is for, and you can I love talking about this stuff, but they have what they call an advertisement ID. That's why they force you to create a Microsoft account. And then you can use your email address. It doesn't matter if it's Google or if it's a Microsoft email address. They want you to use an email address. So when you log into it, you are assigned an advertisement ID. And so everything you do on the computer, they say that they use that information that they gather to sell you ads. And they also sell that information to companies to sell you ads or push ads to your computer. That's why you'll see Candy Crush pop up on your computer. You ain't never used Candy Crush before. You don't remember installing it at all, but it's pushed on your computer when you get an update.
Right.
That's by design. They're doing that on purpose, just to push stuff to you, to just basically based on what they gather as far as your habits. It's so much stuff that, because Microsoft recently bought Fitbit company. I can't remember. I think it's the Fitbit company.
Hmm.
So they're tracking your health
Wow.
information as well, or is it Google? I can't remember. Google, one of them, one of the two
Hmm.
bought the Fitbit bit company, and they're tracking your health data. So now they're gonna know, you know, if you need to go see the doctor before you even,
Wow.
know by them tracking all your health information. And yeah, it's just
So this is
it's a
why I
lot of
said
information that they're gathering. Oh,
it
go
is.
ahead.
So this lady in 2017, and I told Professor Blackhouse about this too. Like, we need to have this discussion. She wrote a thing on privacy where she was talking about when we talk about privacy now, like we're asking for privacy, the PII and all that. She's like, what you're actually doing is you're asking, you're in the field picking cotton, and what you're asking for is to be in the house. Okay, you're still a slave, but to you it's looking better,
Yep.
than but the for the big picture, you ain't got no privacy. Like, what are
Yep.
you talking about?
Yep.
So she's like, we we're asking for crumbs. Well, we need to be thinking a bit of bigger fish here, when it comes to that. Yeah. And
Yep.
and they're fine with that. They're like, okay, you don't want to be in the field. Okay, come on. We can put you in the house. You know what I'm saying? It's like this, but yeah, so I definitely want to talk about her article because she has some really like amazing points that I never thought about ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 I
It
check
sounds
it
really
out.
good. All
Yeah.
right, thank you, Keep It Techie. Like this,
Yeah,
this
no
has
problem.
really been bothering me. And I'm looking right here. Google Terms of Service says your content remains yours. We do not claim ownership in any of your content, including any text, data, information, and files. That's what they
Yeah,
say for the
that's what
thing.
they say, but to be honest, we don't really know at the end of the day because I mean they could be selling your data to anybody at the
I
end of
know
the
they
day
can't. And I know that the
and
lawyers
without you
have
knowing.
worded this in a way that
Hmm.
makes us feel like, okay.
Hmm.
But in
Yep.
reality,
And that's why you gotta watch. You also gotta watch like the. I talk about like search engines as well. Like I use DuckDuckGo. That's a privacy centric um, search engine. That's an alternative to
Mhm.
Google. They basically use like Yahoo search results or one of these other search engines to gather a lot of their results. If you read into the back end of or the documentation of the actual project, but they don't track you. They don't track what your search history, because I don't know if you know this, but they tailor your search results based on what you've already searched in the past and your history, your search history, and things that
Mhm.
and websites that you actually go to. They track all of that and they put it together. And a lot of times when you search something on Google, and let's say the doc search something on Google under his account, the results may be slightly different because of the way he the way you guys search, the way you
Yeah,
guys
that's
look at
interesting. Yeah,
things,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like the advertisement, the things that it advertises to you are
Mhm.
different as well. Like, you know how at the top, the first page, most of it is advertisement. I
It
don't know if you
is.
know
Yep,
this. Yeah,
I
a lot
have.
of it is advertisement.
Mhm.
Well, DuckDuckGo, when you search something, it's just organic search results. It's just crawled websites on it. It's not manipulated in any way like Google does. It's
Mhm.
just strictly search results. So I use it, and I also use a different browser that doesn't track me as well. I use the Brave browser. So you might want to look into that as well.
So
Because go
I,
ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned that because
Mhm.
another thing that I came across with this stuff is ISPs
Yeah.
getting all the information and
Yep.
them using it to
They are.
selling it. I'm
Yep.
like, what the hell?
Everybody's after your data.
Nobody in on it but me. How do I get paid for my data? Can we answer
Yeah.
that question? I
Yeah.
said, you gotta, I didn't even think of the ISPs, but
Hmm.
yes, they're right in there. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
And one way to, I guess, kind of get around that is by using like these anonymous search results, as well as I know a lot of people talk about it and some people have negative things to say about it. And I see it a certain way as well. It's not 100% protection or guaranteed. But that's why a lot of people use VPNs or recommend VPNs, because it gets around the ISP, but you're putting your trust in whatever company that you're paying for the VPN service, because they're able to see it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you kind of like stuck in the middle when it comes to it, unless you want to go like super extreme, like on the video I talked about earlier, where routing all your browsing history through Tor.
And
Yeah.
I heard him.
So,
Listen, Eli, the computer guy, he's the one. Okay. He was talking about how Tor has like a Tor leak or something like that. He was talking about, because I've heard, that Tor is like what it is to use, but Tor, there's something going on with Tor as well, according to Eli, and what he says. So I need to look more into that, but
okay.
keep
Yeah,
it
I did a
techy.
video on it.
That's like a lot of stuff. I mean, it's I don't know. Which is why I was telling Professor Black Ops, like when these breaches happen and people take data, it's like they don't care because they still have it. They could still use it and do exactly what they're doing with it now that they were doing before.
Yep.
It's like telling somebody your secret. First I had it. Now you got it. I still got it, but now 12 other people got it to do whatever they want to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but look into you might have talked about it before, but the Cambridge Analytical scandal that happened a few years back with Facebook, how they were feeding data to them and they were supposed to be using it for whatever purpose, but they were I can't remember the full story and I don't want to
Okay, I'm
misspeak
gonna
and
look it
say the
up.
wrong thing,
Yeah.
but look it up. It
Cambridge, the
was like a big
school?
scandal. Cambridge
You talking about the
Analytica.
university?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Analytica, but it's a company, I believe. It's called Cambridge Analytica. Yeah, that was the name of it. It was a company, not the school, but they use that same name. Like that's why I said but Cambridge, however you say that. But it was a European country, and they were company, and they were. You gonna make me look it up now because I can't. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but check it out though. That's.
Okay.
Somebody might say it in the chat too. Professor Black Ops, I know, probably knows about it.
Maddie said Google bought Fitbit.
Yeah, Google.
And
I
Amazon has
corrected
Halo.
myself.
What is Halo? The game?
Nah, it's one of those. It's kind of like I think isn't Amazon Halo like I don't remember. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think it's it's a fitness thing, kind of like Fitbit.
Really?
I believe. I'm not 100% sure.
The API was not locked down.
Yeah, it's one of the health bands. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Fitbit thing.
Oh, I recognize Microsoft ID. Man, they got so much going on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the company Stoli said because the API was not locked down. That's what it was. It was something with the API where they stole over to data, I think. This was a couple years back. Where
I'm gonna look that up.
Law enforcement agency can find you the company. Oh no, he's talking about something else. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I know they got brought in front of what's those people? The Congress, I think at one point, the first time Mark Zuckerberg went in front of Congress, I think. Analytica scandal. Yeah, they were basically obtaining personal data of millions of Facebook users without their consent. And it was a British consulting firm, Cambridge Analytica, and it was all in the news, and people were up in arms about it, just about their data being, fed to some company, all your personal data. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Professor Black Ops mentioned on that I forget his name, Professor Black Ops, the guy you just interviewed. I forgot who he was, where he was from. But you were saying on there how, because this, I mean, the stuff we hear, I mean, every day, every day it's this breach, that breach, or the other breach. And that's another reason why I feel like it's so difficult to get to people, because it's like, with shootings, you just become numb to it. It's like, it happens so often that it's like an everyday thing now, I don't
You
know.
start to
It's,
get numb to it.
you do, okay, they got my data, like there's just another one. They got my kids' data. They out buying boats and stuff with my kids' security. So it's like, and then you feel helpless. Like what can I do? If somebody come in here and steal my furniture, I can do something. I can go to somebody. I can get some assistance. Somebody get, what can I don't even know who it is. Like what can I do about it? Which is another hurdle that we have to get over. As far as getting people to really pay attention and feel some type of way. Because people don't really feel no type of way right now.
And I just leave you with this. I mean, this is why I always tell people or talk about privacy when I can, when I think about it. You shouldn't put all your information out there just because all these companies gonna take it and use it to make money. So try to put as much minimal information out there. Like that's why I don't use my Facebook that much anymore. I remember back in the day, anytime we went out to dinner or something, I'd take a photo of it. Yeah, we out here, celebrating a birthday or whatever, what I'm saying? And you just basically giving your information out to these big corporations and they're actually using it because like right now, are you monetized on your channel? I'm
not
not 100%
yet.
sure. Google is still making money off your videos. You know
I
that, right?
know.
They
I
made
can't
the
even put my videos.
changes.
I know. They got commercials. I'm like, I am mad at that. Like, I really am.
Yeah.
Because I hate
Yeah.
commercials.
Yeah.
I'm like, these people got commercials on my videos. Are you kidding me?
So that kind of lets you know that they do pretty much own your data until you delete it. I mean, and that's if they even delete it at that point. Yeah. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. But I'll hop down. And if you got any other questions, just let me know. Or if you want to talk about it or whatever. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, this kernel stuff was driving me nuts. I was trying to figure out, and I got a whole bunch of stuff with no answer. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. And I'm gonna send you an email because I want to bring you back on again. We could talk, and you can give a update on what you got going on your channel now.
Absolutely.
And we could talk about, whatever tech. So all right. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. That was a great discussion. Thank you, Keep It Techie. Thanks, Professor Black Ops Maddox. Thank y'all. What'd you say? The after party? So I need to go over here. So Wednesday, I have a show to do where I'm talking about fear, right? What it is and where it comes from and all that stuff. I'm very excited about that. But I was going to talk about something tonight. I forgot. I might have to do it tomorrow though, because it's gotten a little late. So thank y'all again for coming. And if you're going to pawn the replay of this video, please go ahead and subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you all for being here and for joining in the conversation. So I will see y'all next time. Y'all have an amazing night. Bye, y'all.